Hey there, welcome to the Eurostep, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN, and presented by our pals at Prize Picks. I'll tell you what, Rohan Katti, my co-host, I'm Ty Windisch. I have not lost a Prize Picks lineup all year. It is January 1st, so probably very few people have. I don't know if they have anything that'd be going in the first 10 and a half hours of the new year. I'm not sure exactly. There is a lot of stuff on there. So maybe some people have lost already in 2025. I'm planning on all wins this year.
Or win.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, people could win too. I'm planning all wins this year. But Rohan, Happy New Year. We're recording in the morning on New Year's Day, a special podcast. We had to convene after the Milwaukee Bucks. They get Giannis back, and they make a sweet 19-point comeback over the front-running Indiana Pacers. We're going to talk about that. We're going to share our Bucks New Year's resolutions for players and coaches, which I'm very excited about. And behind the scenes here, that's going to be a raw, unfiltered segment because we did not prep it. We came up with this 5 minutes before getting on the Zoom call. So that's going to be live and direct from the heart. So that'll be fun. But Rohan, how's it going, sir? How's your 2025 off to? I messed that sentence up. Bad start to the new year for me.
Doing well. You know, a new year, it always brings, good stuff. There's always opportunities for growth. But also, is your day really marginally different than it was yesterday?
Oh, wow.
So if you are someone who struggles with, the new year and all of that, the anxiety that comes with that, just remember, you're still just taking everything one day at a time.
Yeah, you don't really have an option.
365 days. Yeah. You just got to take things one day at a time, build upon what you've done in the past. It's all about incremental progress or progress at all. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Very, very demure.
Very mindful.
Yeah, Rohan says, go to the gym today, go to the gym next week. All that matters is you go. Well, I guess you have to go often enough. So go this week, but maybe not today. Anyway. Happy New Year, everyone. Great. This is a great podcast. We're off to a great start. Let's talk about Bucks Pacers. How disappointed were you in the fact that the Bucks season almost ended last night? If you were checking live reactions from people on whatever Bird app you use to follow the Bucks, where they're down up to 19 points in the third quarter, everything's bad. In a game to set the scene, Giannis returns. I think we expected him to play in this game. He was at practice a day or two before, and coming back from the illness, so if he's good enough to practice, you assume he's probably going to push himself to play. He did. A very rusty start for him. Dame struggled to get his legs under him, ended up with a down stock. He started 0 for 9 before having some pretty big moments late in this game. And Khris Middleton also didn't have a great shooting night. So the Bucks were up against it, against Indiana in this game. They fought back a couple times. Indiana took that big lead, and then things changed. But how bad did you feel when the Bucks were trailing by almost 20 points?
It wasn't a good feeling, because it's obviously the Pacers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history there. You don't want to see them succeed. They haven't been succeeding that much this year, which is great.
No.
It's very good. They're speed running the Hawks from 21. It's been good to watch, fun to watch. The Bucks have already beaten the Pacers this season. So it's good to see them, It was a bad feeling, I should say, sorry, for them to come in. Giannis is back. Dame is back. The fourth game that the Bucks Big Three has played this season. And
Fifth.
They just come third? Fifth. Okay. Fifth. Oh, no, it was close.
I shared a stat on this. That's the only reason I know it offhand.
Oh, okay. That's good. Thank you. So just coming in their fifth game together, not all start, but... And it was just felt bad, right? You see them kind of start to struggle. Obviously, Giannis and Dame are coming back from major illnesses, as we've gotten details about, which sound horrible.
Yeah.
So it's okay, there's a little bit of an inbuilt excuse there. But overall, it just feels bad. This is a team that you should beat. If you are the Bucks that you have been playing pre Giannis and Dame being sick, you should beat this team handily. You shouldn't be losing by 20 points to this team. You shouldn't be down 20 points to this team. So going in that third quarter, it felt bad. It felt really bad, especially considering that the Bucks were struggling in the first half, but they were still managing to make winning plays. They were still managing to get paint points. They were still managing to do all good things, even though they couldn't shoot the ball to save their lives.
Yeah.
And it was still a close game at half. It was just that third quarter that was very, very demoralizing. At least the first half of it was.
Yeah, things changed. This was such a good encapsulation of these two teams and why one of them has NBA champions and one of them doesn't. Because down 19, Giannis is talking trash to Siakam after a bucket, start kind of pull themselves back into the game. I think he misses a free throw after Halliburton fouled him, kind of cut under him and got his knee. And the Bucks were still down a pretty fair amount by this point. And Tyrese is doing ball don't lie. Benedict Matherin's getting in Giannis's face on the offensive end. Come back down. Giannis is matched up one-on-one against Mathurin. Mathurin immediately just fouls him, says, you're not gonna dunk on me. I'm not gonna play defense. In the words of Luka Doncic, everybody talks tough when they're up. Giannis talked tough when they were down nearly 20 points and they came back and won, and that's the reason. Although they asked Giannis, and Eric Name, I believe it was, asked Giannis after the game, who I dropped the ball, started poorly, could not finish at the rim. It clearly looked out of sorts.
4 points and a half.
Yes. Ends with 30, 12, 5, 2 steals, and just 2 turnovers, 11 for 20. So after that, it was like really bad shooting splits, 4 points at half. You're like, oh no, he's going to lose the 20 points, 50% shooting. Nope, ended up getting there easily. No, not really in doubt by the end of the game. But Giannis just never gave up. But did you hear who Giannis credited the comeback to?
Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers, the doctor. Doc said, actually, you should do it. Your doc's a lot better.
Oh God, I don't have to quote.
He said it's like the Brooklyn game. You just got to keep going. You just got to keep fighting.
You just got to keep fighting. You just got to put that fight when your coach says go put up the fight. You put up I can't do it. I don't have the quote.
Yeah, I think he started doing Giannis's quote as Doc, which got me really confused. I told me. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. That Giannis is, I think, firmly on Team Doc at this point. But the way he said it was so funny because Giannis was basically like, once you get it down to 19 to 15 to 11 to 7, and then it's tie, and then we're like, well, why don't we just go ahead and win it? And I'm like, that's a great question you could ask really at any game. I think you could ask that question a lot, but it was an awesome comeback, and it was a game where so much went wrong for the Bucks. I think Dame was so crucial late in the Chicago game, even though the Bucks still lost. He has a horrible start, ends up 3 for 14 from the field with just 9 points. Khris Middleton, who his turnovers have been a problem. He had 4 turnovers in this game too, but he had been shooting the ball really well in recent games. He was only 4 for 11. Giannis with the slow start. Brook Lopez shot the ball well, but Indiana was just too fast for him. He ends up with probably his lowest minutes maybe this season. I can check that. Less than 24. Although he did shoot the ball quite well. And then Bobby Portis was pretty cold from 3. He only attempted 2 and missed both of them. But the Bucks just found a way, and a lot of it was their zone defense, plus Giannis just being like, he knows they can't guard him. They know they can't guard him. Like, it's got to be demoralizing to be an Indiana Pacer player playing against this guy, knowing deep down that, like, if he was healthy last April, you would have been done in the first round. Because they can't guard him.
Absolutely. Like, that's just been the trend of the Bucks versus the Halliburton version of the Pacers, Siakam on the team or not. It's just been Giannis can get whatever they want. They're not big enough. They're not strong enough to be able to do that. The only guy who's even remotely capable is Miles Turner, and he is not capable to do it. Like, they just don't have the bodies. Obi Toppin, sure, he's just not strong enough. Like, these things, and then everyone else just isn't big enough. It's tough to have anyone who can really defend Giannis, but the Pacers don't even have the semblance of a person who can defend Giannis, which makes them an easy target for Giannis to absolutely demoralize and destroy, especially when his jumper's on, which it was against the Pacers last night. Wow, we're at the stage of the Giannis development arc, Ty, where he is now hitting dagger step back middies.
It was crazy. I mean, he just kept going back to that well. I'm sure pretty fatigued by that point in the game, right? You still, even though they can't guard you, you still have to work hard to get through all those fouls that don't get called and get to the rim. Giannis just decided, you know what? I mean, it felt like, God, was it like 2 and 4 possessions or 3 and 5 possessions? Like, just said, I'm just going to knock down some dagger jumpers and just end this game and ice it. And he pretty much did. One of the more in control, impressive Giannis takeovers we've seen. And so satisfying to watch him just bury those jumpers and bury the Pacers, who, again, just number one front runners. They had nothing to say after the game. Of course
they wouldn't. Of course they wouldn't. Because they're not actually tough.
No, 100%.
They're not actually tough. again, like you said it already. This is the perfect encapsulation of the difference between these two teams. Giannis is talking trash down 19. Halliburton, Mather, and the Pacers are talking trash while up 19, and then don't say anything as they choke away a lead. I was really hoping that after the game, like as soon as the buzzer, Giannis would go up and just fight someone.
No, it can't be Giannis. They need him. We found that out this past week. They need Giannis, and they will suspend you, as Amen Thompson found out. This is
I
why
stand with Amen Thompson.
Dude, people keep sharing the Tyler Hero like boxing training videos.
So
Amen got so lucky. The NBA is hilarious. That was probably the funniest fight. Because at first, when I see like the headline comes out, you get the notification first, right? It's like brawl breaks out. I'm like, oh no, like it's like the Malice in the Palace. Like some of this stuff is a really bad look for the league. And then you see this fight, and it's just hilarious. A guy like kind of throws a guy half-heartedly, and then they just jaw. That's the NBA player.
And then the Terry Rozier just jumps up.
Everyone like jump in there, but you're not like what was it? Ron Holland did someone quote unquote squared up, and they just like kind of circled around each
Jordan
other.
Clarkson,
yeah. Like nobody really.
That's just
fights.
what Jordan Clarkson does. He just squares up but doesn't throw.
Exactly. Well, I mean Jimmy Butler, who will like yell at you, and then it intensifies the more people get between Jimmy and the guy he's yelling at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the Nurkic Najee Marshall too. It's been a lot recently.
Yeah, it's been very combative end of 2024. People are ready for 2025.
I think it's entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want a real fight, to be clear, because I think that is a bad look for the league. But it is funny when it is entertaining when it's. I mean, if you're uninvolved, it is funny when tempers flare because most of the guys look ridiculous trying to do anything close to a fight.
Yeah, because they know like they're going to get suspended.
Yeah,
and just lose out on hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that part is crazy. When the numbers come through, it's like, man, $100,000 because you lost your temper is nuts.
Yeah, like if that kind of money was on the line, I definitely wouldn't lose my temper.
No, I
don't lose my temper in general.
I see why Mike Conley is the way that he is.
Yeah,
Mike Conley still never lost out on money. You're not taking Mike Conley's money.
No, Doc Rivers has tried.
What does that mean? Oh yeah, just because Doc is yeah.
They've never been in the same org. He still tries.
Do you think someone invites Doc to a New Year's Eve party and he's like, cash bar or open? First question.
He's only showing up if he knows it's an open bar.
100%. And like, what's the networking opportunities like? Because we know Doc loves to network.
Yeah. Is Rondo going to be
Well, he'll make Rondo show up. Rondo brings the duffel bag that Doc puts extra food into. Rondo, get over here. They're not looking.
Get some. Take the whole platter.
Anyway, this game. We're way off track. People listen to us for the first time all year, and we're talking about Doc and Rondo doing an Ocean's 11 stealing buffet food.
I think that's the best version of us, though.
Yeah, it probably is.
But this game, what was I even saying? Yeah, Giannis just jawing at the Pacers, him not backing down, him just willing this team to victory. It's what MVPs do, right? It's what the top players in the league do. That's just what they do. And this game is an ever prescient reminder that Giannis is that dude.
Yeah, it's an important win for the Bucks, who had dropped 2 in a row. We're not going to talk too much about them, but the Bulls get lost and the Nets lost again. 2 unfortunate losses to those teams. It hurts you in the standings, and you want to. Again, we can't do full standings watch. There's just too much time left. But with those losses and Atlanta playing well, the Bucks were down to 6th, I believe, at one point. They are now back up to 5th with the win against Indiana. They are a game and a half back of Orlando, tied in record with the Hawks at this point. But they have played less games, so they've lost less. So they're technically ahead of the Hawks with a better winning percentage. But and then Miami's just a half game back now. So probably an opportunity to be really close to Orlando in 4. And again, or instead, I should say, you're in that 5, 6, 7 morass where you could be quite a bit lower as well, with Indiana obviously being closer there after Miami if they had beaten the Bucks in that head-to-head matchup. So a chance to move up a little bit, although, I mean, Orlando is sliding now 4-6 in their last 10. Boston is randomly 5-5 in their last 10. Although they took out some frustration on the Raptors. Jesus Christ, they won like
54?
121 to 76 or something like that.
It was the stat was that the Celtics could have just put up 0 in the first half and still won.
That's like, I don't care how bad you're taking. That's really embarrassing.
That was the 4th straight game that the Raptors have been down at least 30 points in the game.
Yeah, I wonder, like, they're going to fight each other. Like, that's the thing. Like, tanking is tanking, but, like,
when's Adam Silver going to remove Masai? When's he going to step in?
They're not supposed to be that bad. I mean, yeah, that's a great question. I mean, when you are, what are they, 5.5 games back of Brooklyn, who's, like, obviously selling off pieces?
And
you're only half a game better than Washington.
Crazy bad.
11-game losing streak for Toronto.
Crazy. Do you think they could hit Pistons? What is that, 27? 24?
The way they're playing, yeah, they absolutely could. People are looking at Scotty Barnes a little funny in the light right now.
Yeah, it's bad for the league. You want to talk bad for the league? That's bad for the league.
Yeah, I think the amount of teams that are dead in the water is bad for the league.
Yeah.
The Pels, they have it written in.
They have no team.
They're dead. Yeah, they're dead. That happens. Although, like, Memphis was like that too, and they were not that bad. But the Pels, they're not as good as Memphis. They had 9
players out and beat the Suns yesterday.
Not looking good there.
Not looking good for Phoenix at all.
Not looking good there. Utah sucks, but they're 7-24. That's pretty bad.
That's very bad. The Raptors we were just talking to, they're 7-26.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. They were supposed to be a little better. Portland 11-21. I'd say that's around.
That's a respectable bad.
Yeah, that's a respectable bad. Sacramento 14-19. We didn't talk about fired their coach, Mike Brown. The classic things aren't going well, so we'll just fire the coach because we don't have any other levers to pull.
Yeah.
Did you see the reporting? Like they tried to trade for Zach LaVine or something, they couldn't, and they're just like, well, I guess we'll get rid of Mike Brown. That's a well-run org right there.
Oh yeah, so good. Shout out Vivek, man.
I would rather fire a bad coach when the team is playing well, like the Bucks did, than this scenario.
Oh yeah, like this it's a no-win scenario for anyone.
No, maybe De'Aaron Fox.
I mean, Mike Brown gets to get paid to not do anything.
Dude, he's so good at that. He's gonna show up. She might show up as a Bucks assistant. We know Doc loves to.
We're gonna have to add a 4th row.
Yeah, it's gonna be a section. Just
an entire
no tickets
section.
are sold for this section. It's Doc's buddies / assistants.
Doc is the reason they had to move Lisa and Marcus up to the...
Lisa and Steve lately.
Marcus,
I'm putting out an APB. Marcus, come on. I think he's he's at a basketball event, it looks like. He's sharing a lot of...
He's doing the worst thing possible. He's spending time with his family.
I know.
I'm just kidding. We love you, Marcus. Please come back. I saw a great take, and I don't think it's going to work. But instead of Steve Novak, they should have Thanasis.
I feel like, yeah, I'm open to that.
Like, it would be absolutely unhinged.
Yes.
But it'd be incredible.
I mean, yeah, I feel like some of the noises that would come through when Giannis is playing well would be, wow, it'd be a little unsettling at times, I think.
Yeah, I think...
They'd have to turn his mic down so low.
Yeah. Lisa's going to have to wear earplugs.
Yeah, Thanasis still sits courtside, but Lisa's up in the booth. That's
Lisa.
The move. That's the move for her own eardrum protection.
That's fair. That's fair. You got to keep it safe, especially with a new child. Congrats to them.
Yeah, I was gonna say congrats to Lisa and their family. Bucks recorded no blocks in this game. Did you see this stat? That's
crazy for a Bucks team that has Giannis and Brook patrolling the paint. It just
Justin Garcia, it's the 66-game streak.
Wow. I think that speaks volumes about how this Bucks team is plays against this Pacers team, and not just this Pacers team specifically, but all of these small-ish teams, right? These new age basketball, small athletic teams. I say new age, it tries to be the Pacers, the Hawks, the
Bulls now.
The Bulls, yeah. A lot of these we're gonna be young, athletic, the Kings.
Yeah.
These type of teams.
Now that they got DeMar, they're a little less that, but yeah.
The Warriors, what they try to be.
Yeah.
All of these teams, the Bucks, they're scared of the Bucks. Like they're scared of the rim protection. They're scared of the dominance inside to be able to, go in and actually challenge these guys. Like there's a reputation.
Yeah, I agree.
And not just a reputation. You see 2 7-foot guys just roaming. Like
yeah, it's a massive presence.
Yeah, like what are you supposed to do? Two guys who are up there. One has won a defensive player of the year. One's come top 3 a few times.
Yeah, and leads the league in shot contests like every year, basically. Total shot contest. So I want to talk about the big rotation.
And like percentage allowed.
Yeah, up there in that. Now
yes,
Wemby's
not leading, but
numbers, yeah, he's up there.
Is Wemby going to just? Is there going to be another DPOY for a while?
This year's going to be really interesting if they give it to him or not. I think they are. The Spurs' defense overall is not good, but his impact is crazy, and they're no longer a dumpster fire. The Spurs are above 500 now, so I think he might run off a lot of these. But I want to talk about the Bucks' big rotation. I thought it was the right move to go with more Bobby down the stretch. The Bucks were not fast enough. I thought you at least have to stagger those two, Brook and Bobby, because they played together, and Obi Toppin was just able to like beat both of those guys alternating off closeouts way too easily. Taurean Prince was trying to come over and protect the rim. He did okay, but overall it wasn't great. Doc goes with Bobby. I think the last 15 minutes of the game is the stat I saw. He had some lowlights. He missed the layup that would have probably iced the game. I think the game was kind of iced regardless, but still.
It was a bad miss.
It was a bad miss. I thought he got fouled as well. I didn't see a clear replay either way. It looked like there was contact and it moved him going up. Regardless, he missed that. That was bad. He missed both of his threes. I think at least one of them was late in the game. That also would have been huge in that moment. Overall, though, he had those lowlights. I thought he had a good game. I think he's continuing to play well in a very solid manner. I think the zone is great for him. I think he's a lot better at zone than I have ever given him credit for, which is kind of funny because like when he's the drop big, he seems to struggle. He does okay on switching. He mans his zone pretty well. Like he gets out like, was it Jarris Walker hit one on a really good Bobby contest where you're just like, you can't blame Bob for that. And again, 15 rebounds. He led the NBA in rebounding last night. Those are really important. The Bucks need to grab all those rebounds, especially if Brook isn't out there. That's a big role for Bobby. He had 3 assists in this game. He had 2 steals in this game. Like, didn't have the greatest scoring game, but I really like the way he's been playing. And again, kind of quieting down the trade chatter that's been around him and the Bucks for a lot of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely quieting that trade chatter. We've talked about that on our last podcast, but it's even more evident after like these Pacers team. Like this is a team you could face in the postseason again, like in the first round. Absolutely is. So you want to see them be able to dominate, especially because Bobby had troubles against this Pacers team in the postseason last season. So just coming out here, being a reliable threat down the stretch and just moving well. I think this is continuing on what we were talking about Bobby a few weeks ago, where it's like the defensive tools are there. Just do it. It makes you upset when he doesn't because you know he's capable of doing these types of things. Like he can move. He has those active hands. He can do a lot of these things. So just being able to, consistently apply that pressure. And I think having his offensive role like a little bit reduced kind of helps with that a bit.
Yeah.
Because it's like maybe he was just getting gassed posting up every possession. That's definitely a possibility because you see when he doesn't do that as often, he's more active on defense or he's trying to earn his post-ups again.
Yeah. I think he's looking to pass a lot more out of those post touches, which is good. I think he is taking, like in this game, he took 5 shots from outside of the paint, not counting 2 threes. So 2 threes, 5 mid-range shots, but then it looks like all the rest of his shots were right basically at the charge circle or within that circle. So right there in the deep paint. I think that's really good for him. He's been a good cutter. He's been a better passer lately, even out of those post-ups. It's more like, we're going to use Bobby's post-up to generate offense for the Bucks, not we're going to throw it to Bobby and he's going to take 3 shots in a row, which I think that's a key difference. It feels like, and this is where I think NBA coaching goes unheralded and why they deserve more credit, is because, us as Bucks watchers, fans, whatever you want to say, podcasters, we're like, oh, Bobby has a bad game. This guy sucks. Like, trade him. You got to do something else. Doc Rivers doesn't have that option, right? Like, maybe there's a trade, maybe there isn't, maybe you have input, maybe you don't. It always takes two to tango with like other teams around the league. Like, you have no idea what's available. Bobby obviously has a lot of basketball talents, right? That is, you can't dispute that. There's not that many big men who can shoot like him with his athleticism, everything else, his post presence. It feels like Doc has gotten through to him in a way that, like, he put a battery in his back. Like, defensively, he's playing different. Offensively, he's playing different. And he's been a key player on this team. He's been, probably their fourth most important player over this last month. I mean, he and Brook are pretty neck and neck. I mean, obviously, some of the big three have been out, but Bobby's been crucial. It's a big deal. And you hope to see it continue, of course, but a really good game for Bobby, who was third on the team in minutes to that point. Played more than everyone except Giannis and Dame. And played well, I thought.
100% played well, and he's really showcasing his value. Another guy who's really showcased his value. Can I switch topics a little here?
Yeah.
Gary Trent Jr.
Scary Gary. Oh my God.
When that dude's confident, it's a different animal.
Bench Gary's been incredible.
There was that one play where it was like the Bucks were down 2 or something, or 1, or it was a tied game, something like that in the fourth quarter. And Khris throws like an outlet pass in transition to him in the corner. And you could tell as soon as he got that, he was like, I want to put this baby up. But he didn't. And I think that really speaks volumes about the player that Gary Trent Jr. is. I think other Bucks players in that role in the past would just put that up. Like Malik Beasley's putting that shot up. Because he knows, like, he's hot. Maybe Malik Beasley's a bad example. He's leading the league in 3-pointers made.
Yeah, that's all. That's all he does for good reason.
This is so sad. Grayson Allen would have just put it up because he just doesn't. He wouldn't have thought of anything else to do in that situation. But Gary Trent Jr., the flamethrower that he was, took that pass, shot faked, and immediately pumped and drived and was able to create some offense out of it.
Yeah.
I think that he's just such a versatile offensive player that the Bucks have not really had in that role in the past, because it's like, yeah, he's not just a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. He's capable of doing things off the bounce. He's capable of creating his own shot at times too. When he's hot, he's just going to go cook in the mid range. He's going to go hit his little mini step back.
Yeah.
After creating some separation in 2-point non-paint area. And he's just going to go. He's just going to go. He's going to cook. And he was really, really big for this team down the stretch. You want to talk about Bobby playing the entire fourth quarter? Gary Trent Jr. played the entire fourth quarter, and they needed him.
Yeah, closed out the game, deserved it. Since coming off the bench, so his last 22 games, shooting 47.7% from deep. Gary's just been red hot. And he didn't start off hot right away, but pretty soon after that switch, and then he missed a couple games, came back and just got right to it. Has been just an awesome player to watch. And I just feel like even with 3 star-level players in Giannis, Dame, and Khris, there's just times throughout games like this where either they're not in, like they're on the bench, or they're tired, they've been doing a lot. And it's just so crucial to have guys who can just step up and be like, you know what, for these 2 possessions, I'll be the star too, right? Like, I'm not a star player. I'm not saying Gary's saying that. NBA player's confident, but they know, right? Like, I'm not the top guy on this team. I'm not one of the top 3 guys on this team. But for these 2 possessions in the fourth quarter, when I can tell Giannis and Dame are gassed or they're getting doubled or whatever, I'll be that guy. Gary's one of those players where, like you say, he's very confident. He's like, yeah, I will take those shots. The 2 threes he hit in the fourth quarter, probably the difference between winning and losing this game. Just massive shots. And to have this and AJ Green, who's coming back around a little bit as well with his shot, he was 3 of 6. Having 2 players like that where you're like, yeah, you can take any contested 3 and I feel good about it is such a luxury. Not to mention Khris and Dame, obviously, as well when they're going. But 2 quote-unquote role players like that, like the Bucks have shooters all the time, which is good. But Gary especially has been crucial, has been great on the defensive end, had 2 steals in this game, took one of them coast to coast. Like, what an awesome game and turnaround from him. Again, to that point of like, the Bucks, things were going bad for the team and for a lot of individual players, right? Bobby seemed bad. Gary seemed bad to start the year, was not meshing well as a starter. The Bucks needed more defense from that spot, and he's been a better defender since. But the coaching staff, the other players, like, they just dug down and hit the play better button, and they've done it, and now they are a much better team.
I got to say, it's going to be really tough. You got to find some way to keep him.
Yeah.
It's going to be next to impossible. You got to do the
Well,
Bobby Portis.
there's too many variables though. I mean, they could have an MLE depending on what number is Khris back at, or Brooke, or Bobby. Like there's a lot of questions. They could have some cap. I mean, the cap is going up a bit faster than the contracts most of these guys signed. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Hey, all that matters is Giannis and Dame are under contract.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a very big deal. And
But
AJ
no.
Green and Ajax. That's a good start.
That's a really good start. Brooke, too?
No, he's expiring, but they can't
he
extend
is.
him.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
I didn't think Brooke played poorly in this game. He had 3 assists. He's 7
It's
for
just
11.
it's not a Brooke game.
He's
like
just too big.
he's situational. Like we know
Yeah.
this now. This isn't the Brooke Lopez of 2019 where you have to play him the entire time and you just live and die with what happens.
Yeah.
This is a team that is capable of playing without Brooke Lopez, and he sometimes there are situations where he can't play, and that's understandable. What's that dude? 36 years old? Like it's fine.
Yeah. 7'1", 260 pounds. Like this
With
team was just
back
too fast for him.
surgery 2 years ago.
He has been incredible, all things considered. But yeah, despite how well he shot, despite having 3 assists, he had 16 points in less than 24 minutes. They lost his minutes by 14. Like it just was not working. Yeah.
The thing is the Pacers are so fake big that you don't even need to worry about it.
No. If Miles Turner posts anyone on the Bucks roster up, I'm like, okay. Like Dame might go get that ball. I'm not worried. I'm not.
No, I'm not. Oh,
Siakam too. It's like fine. Like he's gonna get the same shot regardless of who's guarding him.
I mean, he's
gonna
the best
fade
ISO
away.
player on the team. Like,
yeah,
but he does the same thing every time.
He settles for Bobby shots a lot.
Oh, 100%. The thing is,
Pascal super Bobby.
Oh my God, he might be.
It's like if Bobby was a pure 4, not a tweener, and just better. No offense to Bobby.
Pascal being super Bobby is crazy.
Pascal
but you're
super
right.
Bobby. Like him and Julius Randle, it's like a Digimon.
Digimon? I thought you would have got a Pokemon.
No, because I think it's 2 different paths.
Oh, is that how Digimon works?
I don't know. Maybe it's not. I guess there's some Pokemon that work like that too. Bobby is Eevee, and Julius Randle is Flareon, and Siakam is Jolteon. I don't know who Vaporeon is, and there's like 7 of them now, but...
Yeah, I was like, "Where's your Espeon, your Umbreon?"
Yeah, Sylveon, the fairy one. Drop it in the YouTube comments in the Discord or wherever else to us if you figure out who are the other Bobby evolutions, or maybe Bobby's one of them. Maybe there's a worse player and Bobby's one of them too.
Is the worst player Jahlil Okafor?
No, that's too bad. Nas Reed
tearing it up in the G League though.
Nas Reed might be below Bobby right now. By the way.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a wild one. Shout out to Bobby Portis and the Digimon and Pokemon of the world. Ajax, I thought, had a really nice open in this game. Doc went away from him. I think some of the reason that happens is just like they have a lot of players. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's necessarily anti-Ajax. It's more about like, you don't want Gary or AJ to play more or Torian or whatever. It is weird how they manage his rotations, but I thought that he did some things well offensively and made a couple shots was a huge deal for Ajax because he's going to have to. He also had 3 fouls in less than 12 minutes, so kind of the old Ajax from that perspective. But it was a big moment for him to prove he can not kill the Bucks offense with the big 3 out there together. I thought he did that, but then the fouling and everything caught up with him.
Yeah, he proved it was a big game. I think you were tweeting about this before the game.
Yeah.
But it's just a big game to show, like, yeah, you're not just a complete offensive liability for the big 3, and you're not going to hamper the big 3, because that's just always been the issue, right? Like, I say always, like it's not his second season, but like last year, it was always the question we would ask: can he play with Giannis? No, bad. That's bad.
Yeah, that's
now
kind
we're
of a non-starter.
Now we're seeing that he can. He can play with Giannis. He can play with Dame. He can play with Khris. He can play with a lot of different lineups. But mostly it matters, can you play with Giannis?
Yeah.
And we are starting to see that is actually the case, which is just so good. I think he's such an underrated passer because we see the missteps, right? We see him trying to be Magic Johnson once a game. Like it's guaranteed that it's not going to go well.
Some crazy, yeah.
He gets a little bit of confidence and he thinks he thinks he's Magic walking out of the tunnel in the puffer. Right. Yeah. But
the puffer is crazy.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
But he does have good passing touch. He knows how to read where players are going to go because he has to. he's going to get the
Yeah.
ball and have so much space to operate that he has to be able to fit the ball into tight windows because guys aren't going to guard him. So just being able to navigate those passing lanes, see those passing lanes, I'll give him a tragic Johnson every now and then.
Yeah. The Bucks have a net rating of plus 3.4 when Giannis and Ajax share the court this year, which is a very good sign for him. This is why early season samples can be noisy, though. They are minus 0.1 with Giannis and Dame, which I would not expect to persist. Although Khris and Giannis in 6 games plus 12.2, pretty crazy.
The Bucks did start 2-8 with Giannis and Dame.
Yeah. The Giannis, Dame, and Khris is what matters. By the way, I mentioned it earlier. They've played 5 games together. They are now 4-1. Their only loss was Chris's first game back in Boston. And they were close in that game too. I would say that's a pretty meaningful stat because, as we've said a billion times since the Dame trade, you need those 3 guys playing together to accomplish your goals. So far, when they've done that, the Bucks have been pretty damn good.
Is this the first game they've been back where everyone started?
At least this season, yeah. Khris was coming off the bench until Dame and Giannis
that's my LeVar thing.
I was going to say, you have a new LeVar opportunity. Hopefully they keep it up.
Hopefully they win.
Yeah. And they all keep staying in the lineup. Well, we had no injury news coming out of this one. Hopefully, that's the other thing. Let's all play together. I was seeing a Suns thing where it's like literally the game, one of them comes back, the Suns' big 3, a different one gets hurt. Like they have had all 3 of them for almost no games.
Why are they cursed?
Well, apparently the Bucks are too, because it's kind of been the same thing.
That's true.
So I'm not even going to laugh at the Suns for that, because I'm kind of feeling that too. It's not fun.
Yeah, it's not. It's not at all. Like we're a third of the way through the season or whatever. More.
Yeah.
What was that, game 31?
Yes. So more than a third.
Yeah, 37.8%.
It's kind of crazy that Celtics have been so mid and they're still second.
Yeah. I wish there was more. I wish the Bucks didn't start 2-8.
Yeah, that would have been good. If they started 5-5, they'd be like right there with the Knicks.
I mean, they're almost.
No, they wouldn't.
No, but the Celtics are almost third. They're only a game out of third.
Yeah. That 4-5, man. It's not looking like the worst. It's not looking like the worst.
It's really not.
No offense to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have beaten the Bucks 4 times already? 3 times?
3 times, yeah.
That's fine.
But
no disrespect to them.
They're not the Celtics.
I'm still going to rate Boston higher until I see reason in the playoffs to think otherwise.
Jared Allen is claiming them to be an ethical basketball team, though, which I can't not love.
Yeah, and I agree. They don't. I
don't know why
it
went double negative there.
Yeah,
which I love.
Mitchell gets to the line, but yeah, not crazy.
No, it's not like he's trying to sell either.
No.
They are a pretty ethical basketball team.
Yeah, I would say they're ethical. I mean, are
the Bucks not an ethical? Dame tries a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although they don't give it to him.
It's just Dame specifically.
Dame's reaction when Khris got the call, was that the game before last with the Nets game, I think?
No, that was this game.
It was Dame's just like looking, like smiling, like happy for Khris, but like, how do I do that? Because Khris got the around screen shoot.
Well, it's because of I don't know if we talked about this on pod, but it's because the NBA referees have used Dame tape as the example.
Yeah, which is horrendous.
Yeah, so it's just targeted harassment, basically.
Yeah. Also, I think part of it is like Dame is craftier, so you could believe he's going, or like Khris, like he doesn't move as quickly. You know what I mean? Like, no, Khris did not just decide to shoot. We saw the windup. We know.
We saw his old body sort of start to get into a shooting motion.
Yeah. Oh man.
Which gets into one of my New Year's resolutions.
What's that?
About the Bucks.
Oh. My New Year's resolution is to have even more fun. This is going to be difficult. To have even more fun playing Prize Picks in 2025. Our longtime sponsor, and they are sticking around, and we appreciate it. If you are unaware, Prize Picks is the best full-stop place to get real money sports action. We're talking daily fantasy. We're talking eligible to play in more than 30 states. California, Texas, Georgia, Florida. Who cares? Most importantly, Wisconsin. If you're in one of those states, we do care, but we Factor Wisconsin a little bit more. You can join more than 10 million members. We're on the climb toward 100 million in 2025. Us and Prize Picks are dear friends. Rohan, I believe you had a dub you can share with the folks here to kick off 2025 on a winning note.
I did. This was for the Bulls game.
Oh, nice.
A few days ago, back on Friday.
Don't ask me. The
Sure.
holidays have me scrambled too. I know usually I'm the one, but I don't know right now.
This one, I won $2. I won 2 Bulls here. This was a weird game. This was Dame's comeback. I didn't want to really chance it with anything Dame related because who knows how he's going to play. So first pick here, Khris Middleton. The line, it was at 6. The projection was at 16 points even. I'm like, come on, this is Khris Middleton we're talking about. He's getting into the flow of the offense. You got to pick more than on that. So he had 21 in that. Taurean Prince. Well, the projection for his points was 7.5 points. I got to take less than on Taurean Prince.
Yeah.
Ended with 6 points. It's just he hadn't been involved, and we had we were talking a little bit beforehand about Taurean Prince and Giannis. Without Giannis, Taurean Prince's production kind of dips a little bit, so I wasn't expecting a full Taurean Prince output here, but he did have 6 points, which is a win for that. Kobe White, projection to 3.5 rebounds, take less than that. I only ended up with 2, and then Zach LaVine. This one was the nail biter. The line was 3.5 free throws made.
Oh, yes.
Took more than. He gets to the line early in the game, makes 1 out of 2. Then he just goes in the fourth quarter, gets to the line again, goes 2 for 2. So he's 3 out of 4. And I'm like, I'm cooked. I'm absolutely cooked. AJ Green, at the end of the game, Zach LaVine gets the rebound. He's like, you know what? I'll play the foul game one more time, even though this game was out of hand.
It was over.
It was over. And he was like, no, I'm gonna do the ethical thing, and I'm gonna go foul Zach LaVine. Goes 1 out of 2 again. So that's 4 free throws, and that's a win. That's a
Zach
4
LaVine,
for 4 right there.
Zach LaVine almost let you down. He did let me down on my 4-pick power play that same day. So I nailed my other 3 projections. T. Higgins, more than 36.5 receiving yards. I have him in my fantasy leagues. He had 106 in that second half. Not even close. Bobby Portis, less than 19 points. I love Big Bob, the way he's playing. This was Dame's return game. I figured there'd be less shots for Bobby. I was correct. De'Aaron Fox, more than 24.5 points. This was the first game after he got slandered for saying he got Mike Brown fired. You knew he was going to put on a show. He had 29 points. I did Zach LaVine more than 21.5 points. Seemed like a couple times he was going to get there. I mean, he had 15. He didn't get there. Like half of those were on free run-out dunks where the Bucks just didn't guard him. I was like, really, Zach? You can't score like 15 points in the half court. He could not. The Bucks lost. I lost. But at least Rohan won. You can get in on the action. You can do better than me and as good as Rohan in the future. We got a lot of sport action here as the new year commences. Whether it's the pros or college, download the Prize Picks app today and use code EUROSTEP to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Promo code EUROSTEP. Again, win or lose, if it's your first time, you play your first $5 lineup, you get $50 to play on Prize Picks. You can get in on the action with us. Prize Picks, run your game. Okay, we are going to go back and forth doing Bucks New Year's resolutions until we run out of them, basically. Rohan, you said you had one before we talked about our lovely friends at Prize Picks. Where are you starting here?
I'm going to be starting with Khris Middleton.
Okay.
So here's the thing with Khris Middleton. And I know he's still coming back from injury. I know that. Like, I'm not trying to harp on a guy. I love Khris. Everyone should know that I love Khris. I'm a big Khris supporter.
But
his New Year's resolution should be that he should recognize that he can't do everything he used to. It's a little bit of a tough watch. Again, it's a very small sample. There is still room for improvement. There's still so much room for improvement. He still looks a little lost out there when trying to handle the ball and when he tries to run. It's just like the simple things. When he tries to move fast, like coming off a screen or something, it just looks disjointed. He should be more he should be more of like an old school style 4 at this point, where he's just, getting in post position, being thrown the ball. He could be the Super Bobby evolution.
There we go.
Yeah.
Khris
could
is
be that.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and just be more of a that type player. Like I recognize how much he brings to this team. Don't get me wrong. Like he is still a very, very, very important piece to this team. The Bucks need Khris Middleton to be successful in order to reach their goals of a title. So just set him up for success. Maybe
Yeah.
don't have him run point. And we saw a little bit of that recently. Like when Khris is on the court with Giannis, Khris is not the one handling the ball.
Yeah.
It's Giannis. So we're starting to see a little bit more of that, but we're still seeing a lot of possessions where Khris is just dribbling into nothing and having to call timeouts, especially in late game
Yeah.
situations. And just I'd say the resolution is just more of a recognition of who you are.
Yeah, I think he can still run pick and rolls, but when he's trying to create fully solo, that's the issue. I think he's looked good running pick and rolls generally, especially if it's with Giannis, because again, it gets you more space. But I agree with you. I thought it lasted for like 10 seconds. I thought it was the right idea for Doc in the fourth quarter of the Indiana game to put Rollins out there because Rollins struggles a little bit with ball pressure too. He is a better ball handler at this stage to set guys up than Khris Middleton is. Like Rollins should be out there setting up Khris if there's going to be minutes with Khris and no Giannis or Dame. So I'm really eager to see how that rotation evolves. But I agree with you. I have been a Khris defender. I don't think he's playing as poorly as some would say, but the trying to do too much with the ball is definitely has definitely been noticed. So
yeah, I don't think he's doing that bad at all.
Yeah. Okay, my resolutions. Where do I want to start? I want to start with Andre Jackson Jr. My resolution is to, you know what? It hasn't always worked. I want him to keep trying to bully the point guards that they stash on him, especially when it's like Halliburton. Like he basically ISO'd him from like the mid post and just tried to like go through his chest and make the layup. He's got to work on actually converting those. I don't want him to stop trying that because I do think there's real inherent value in saying, you know what, you're not going to hide this guy. Like you're not just going to be able to stand here and do nothing. And he's tried against other offensive players too. I like when he tries to do it, even though it doesn't work all that well generally. I think it's worth doing. But I think he's just got to do that and just continue shooting as well. He's down to 35% from three now, less than 40% from the field. You know, it's been a mixed bag offensively, but again, good signs against Indiana. I love when he was, just making easy shots when he cuts at the right moment. So keep trying to do stuff offensively, Ajax. Don't give up, because if you stop trying, then that's when you lose all your minutes, I think.
Yeah, you have to try, right? You don't want it to be full Bud, let it fly Bucks, but
yeah,
just more controlled, right? But at least you have to try. You have to try. You at least have to make the defense act honestly around you. I think that's a very good resolution for Ajax. Like you have to try. Here's the thing about Ajax is I don't even know how he punishes these guards. Like what's the move set that he's going to?
He just tries to go through them. He just tries to. He's got to. Maybe he should try posting up a little bit or something.
That's my thing. It's like you got to try having some sort of avenue. Than rather just bulldoze, because you're not Giannis.
No, he tries
Giannis
to be.
is way more finesse. Giannis in terms of he's just on another planet. Footwork, skill, finesse, touch. There's a reason he's the best in the world. But Ajax, you need to have like some sort of plan of attack for actually breaking down these guards. I think, do you want to just do like a Drew style post up? I think that would be really, really helpful for him. Like you don't need to do a lot on the offensive end. You just need to be able to do some things really, really well. Like Drew, whenever you get a small guard on him, he would just go to work. He would just be like, I'm just putting you in the basket. I want to see Ajax at least try. Have we seen Ajax post ups this year?
I don't think so. I would be intrigued too. Like if he gets close enough to the rim against like a Halliburton, like if you just kind of turn and jump, it's got to be like right there for you to lay the ball in. I would imagine. Like unless that guy plays really good defense, which we're not used to seeing from these players that we're talking about wanting him to post up. But that would be a fun way to mix it up a little bit. I mean, he's a good screener, everything else, but he's got to keep finding ways to do offense.
Yeah, 100%. Here's my Damian Lillard resolution here. So Damian Lillard, he's always been a guy who's been sort of like profiled as a bad defender, right? That's just what
Yeah.
he has been, and he has been in the past. He's really been a bad defender at times. Uh, so Damian Lillard is the guy who I want to see hit 2 steals per game.
Ooh, I like that.
You got to have those active hands. You can't just be posting boxing videos in the offseason and not doing anything with it. You got to do it. You got to do it. And like maybe 2 steals is completely arbitrary of a resolution, but you got to hit some sort of benchmark. And it's not going to be blocks, I can tell you that much. He'll try. He at least has some blocks on the season, which is impressive. But if Dame can get up to 2 steals per game, it's going to take him a while to. I don't even know if he's going to be able to hit that benchmark this season. But at least how about from 2020, like the start of 2025 onwards?
He is leading the Bucks in steals so far. So not a big steals per game team for the individuals, but I like that a lot. I like that stat
1.1?
1.1.
Get up to 2. Can you get up to 2 per game starting now? You have a lot. Like, here's the thing about Dame is he has so many guys trying to involve him in defensive actions because they try to attack him. Use that. Use that. Disrupt it because you're involved all the time. You have so many chances.
Where is Dyson Daniels? 3.1.
Yeah, he's at 3 point. I knew he was above 3.
There's 7 players tied with 2 steals per game. I think this is a group Dame could join because one of those players is Luka Doncic. Another one of them, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Tyrese Maxey. So there is a blueprint here for not dominant defense. They talked about Shai during the NBA Cup, like he was this great defender. I do not think Shai is a great defender. I think he's, fine. But
he's not bad.
Luka and Maxey, to me, are guys who clearly are not great defenders, to say the least. Like, they're up here with Herb Jones in steals per game. Like for the reason you mentioned. Like, these players are going to be in a lot of actions. They're going to have opportunities to poke the ball loose, and you just have to make the most of it. Like, Jokic is 1.8 steals per game. There's a lot of players like this. So, yeah, I like that.
Jokic should get the block benchmark.
Alfred Payton is at 1.4 steals per game.
You know what? Good for Alfred Payton.
He only played 7 games. They lost all of them, and now he's gone again. Tough beat. Yeah. Well, he's alive, but
this was I was going to say to his Pelicans career.
Yeah. My next one is for Taurean Prince.
Ooh.
It's not just about the driving, but you got to cut down on some of these drives. TP, although some of this is bigger than Taurean Prince, my resolution for him is to just be a little bit more controlled offensively. But I did pull this stat I'm going to share on socials and everything later. His shot profile and effectiveness changes drastically whether Giannis is on the court or not. When Giannis is on, 61% of Taurean Prince's shots are threes, and he's shooting 49.4% on those shots. When Giannis is not on the court, that drops to 51% of his shots are threes, so 12% fewer, 12% more twos, more of these ridiculous drives he was trying against Chicago and Brooklyn and earlier. And he's shooting 28.6% on threes with Giannis off. So I think, this is a player who talked about, like, I studied the ways, like, every assist from Giannis, Dame, and Khris. It seems like especially Giannis, he's got a good connection there, and he feeds off of him well. Also, there's just more space, right? Like, when Giannis is on the court, guys are going to be more open. That's been a huge thing for Prince. So some of this is out of his control. I think for Doc, maybe try and pair those players even more together. But for Prince, if you can drive, if you can, like, get directly to the rim, please stop trying to drive through 2 players and make a floater. Like, just pass the ball and screen or something, man. Please.
Like, it gets back to Khris. Like, know who you are as a player.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to do too much. Like, I'm all for people trying to reach their potential, but you are all basketball players making millions of dollars, so it's fine.
Yeah, I'm concerned more with the Bucks team potential than what Taurean Prince can accomplish. He can do a lot of great things. I don't think Giannis shots, to your point about Ajax, I don't think trying to emulate Giannis is going to work out well for anyone on the roster besides Giannis.
But they just see it, and he makes it look so effortless, Ty.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
It's just they all trying to emulate him. He's leading by example, except it's a bad way.
Yeah.
It's like the Kawhi Leonard defense. Like, guys, just go through everyone and just dunk the ball. Just be 7 foot. Just be a 7 foot alien.
Yeah.
I don't know why
help defense exists. Yeah.
Yeah, just be run and dunk, man.
Hopefully nobody tries to emulate Dame too much.
Yeah. We out here with Ryan Rollins taking
Yeah.
contested step back
Just
35 footer.
Yeah, 35 foot immediately. You're just like, no, no. That's the funny thing. Dame drills two of them in a row, 0 for 9 to start. You're just like, yep, those were good shots for him.
Yep, makes
Just keep
sense to me.
going. Yep.
It's a good thing about having two 75ers on your team.
Yeah, 100%.
Here's my next resolution. It's for AJ Green.
Mm.
Dunk the basketball.
Oh, you want him to do it?
I want him to do it. I want him to get off these lists.
Right?
What?
He should be able to, right?
He should be. I think he told us.
Did he? Did we ask him?
We might, or it might have came up. I feel like I remember asking him about it.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and re-listen again to our interview with AJ Green.
Yeah, which is on our podcast feed, by the way, everyone.
Search it.
But just dunk the basketball. Get off these lists of like the tallest players who have never dunked in the NBA. Like you're not Caleb Houston, I know that, but just do it. Like you can. Like I'm assuming you can. Just go out there and do it. Fast break, just dunk a ball. Just once.
Yeah, dunk once. Yeah, he should have that one.
Get off these lists with Ty Jerome.
Yeah. Trae Young.
Trae Young, yeah.
Trae Young's got to be able to, right?
I think he's tried.
I'm sure in an open gym, almost every NBA player has to be able to do it. In an open gym. Like just half court, no one there.
Yeah.
Trae could for sure dunk, right?
Yeah, but it's like he's had opportunity because he's had like half court full transition.
Yeah, because if you miss it, that's tough.
Yeah, you'd go full Brandon Knight against the Nets.
What is he, like 6 feet tall? Like maybe
6'1"?
I think realistically, I'm thinking 6
yeah.
feet. Yeah,
I think we're both taller than Trae.
I've been there, Trae. I've been there. My next one is for Big Bobby Portis. I want to see him continue to at least look to pass when he posts up. I think the defense is great. Obviously, continue that effort, and I'm not going to steal your steals. Or I was thinking of steals plus blocks maybe for Bob, but I'm going to keep it simpler. I want to see the assists. He's at 2.2 right now. I want to see 3 assists per game the rest of the way because he's moving and it's part of actions. Doc's been drawing up some great ATOs where like Bob is like a crucial swing piece, or just like he's doing it more, but there's still these post ups where you're like, dude, Dame is pretty damn open one pass away. Let's just go with that, and you will get the ball back, Bobby. So I want to see 3 assists per game from Big Bob, assuming he continues to be used in the post. Like maybe the usage goes down. Maybe there could be an assist percentage. This too is one where, guys don't always hit the shots. You can see it when he's playing. Just continue to look for passes out of those post-ups is what I want to see.
I think that's a great call. Like we've seen this Bucks team be really successful when Bobby Portis can pass the ball, and the offense just flows so much better as of recently because he has been passing the ball more, and it's great. We got to continue seeing that.
We're getting down there now.
We really are. I'm trying to think. I don't have anything for Giannis. Just keep being you, King.
Yeah, for Giannis, for me, I mean, just I have one for Giannis.
Oh, okay.
Continue to make these smart decisions about taking care of your body. After the Pacers game, they asked him, like, oh, you missed a couple games with back spasms. He goes, oh, that's what they put down on the...
Wait,
and he goes, no, it was. Yeah, he literally, he was like, oh, I watched his interview. He's like, that's what they put... And he's like, no, I'm kidding. Like, okay, Giannis. Like, we know Giannis doesn't like to get fined or anything. But he went on to say, like, straight up, I said before the year, my goal is to be healthy for the playoffs. I've got to be smart. Like last season, I was on pace to play 79 games before I got hurt. Basically saying, like, I know I can't do that if I want to be 100%. So it seems like, whatever, if it was his back bothering him or whatever it was, like after that intense cup game, he was going to take a game or two regardless. Those can hurt. The Bucks played well in some of those. I mean, they got blown out by Cleveland. Then they played well without him for a couple of games. Those can hurt in the short term. If I'd rather the Bucks be the 10th seed with Giannis than the 3rd seed without Giannis come playoff time. So that's my resolution. Keep up those decisions, even though people may not like it. It makes a whole NBA ratings discourse. I don't care about any of that. I want Giannis to play in the playoffs. I don't want him to, go full Embiid and be like, I'm never playing back-to-backs or anything else. But, make the smart decisions. I'm sure it's hard for him, but I thought that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I want him this year to play his first full playoff series in 3 years. Like we've seen him play what, 2 playoff games?
Yeah, 2 or 3 against Miami. Yeah,
It's just the Bucks aren't going to go anywhere if that's the case. So I
yeah,
think that's a good resolution. Just is that a resolution?
I think it is. I
Sure.
think he's resolved to doing it.
There you go. That's a win. I think I'm out.
Brooke Lopez, keep up the short roll stuff. He talked
Yeah.
about it before the year. He's had some fun passes this year. He is at 1.6 assists per game. Where is that for Brookie? That is double last season. Oh, wait, what is this? This is pre-season. You go to Brooke Lopez
I know.
on NBA
You go to
stats,
anyone and it defaults to preseason.
That's the
NBA
same
stats
as
is
last year.
broken.
That's the same as last year in more minutes per game. So it's not actually that much of an increase. Although, I mean, 1.3 2 years before that, less than 1 assist per game. So it's up there with last season. I've enjoyed how he's done that. I don't have much else for Brooke.
Yeah. The passing is good. I want him to mash more. Select times. Actually, you know what? I think he's doing fine.
Yeah, they swarmed. I like when he's a roller better. Just keep rolling. I mean, rolling and passing and shooting out of it.
Rolling.
He's been
Just
like,
keep rolling.
I feel like when he gets rolling toward the rim, Dame finds him. He's like a god. Like it changes
He's
so much for him. But I mean, like even like his push shots go in more.
Yeah.
Like when they just throw it to him in the block and he throws something up, it sometimes works.
What's that one 2K badge where it's like dimer, where it's like you get a higher field goal percentage.
Exactly.
When you get a pass from that guy.
It's a real thing for Brooke.
God, I'm upset that I knew that.
Yeah, you're a 2K guy.
I haven't played in like 2 years though, which is crazy.
I know, it's good. It's good that you did that because it can be a rough game to play. For Scary Gary,
shoot more. Here's my thing for Scary Gary. How about this? More twos.
I was gonna say finish more at the rim.
I think that counts.
Yeah, well, shoot them more, but also like better.
Yeah, just make them.
Like I think he is shooting better. He's shooting like moderately better, I think, from 2 than from 3. Maybe it's a little more than that. Like, I want to see a little more, but also like a little more effective. His floater, I feel, has not been great.
No, it was. It's hit or miss. It depends on whether his 3-pointer is going in or not. Because it's like I think with Gary, I think it's really, really confidence dependent.
That's fair.
I think with him, it's like you just need to make sure his confidence is up at all times. Like he's like a J.R. Smith, where it's like you expect him to work outside in terms of his shooting confidence rather than inside out with any other types of players. Like a lot of guys with shooters, it's like, oh, you just want to see one go in, just take a little midi, go finish at the rim, and then the threes will start to fall. Like Dame's a good example of that. Like Dame was like, if his 3-pointer's not falling, he'll build his confidence inside out.
Get some free throws, yeah.
Yeah. With Gary, it's outside.
Yeah.
Like he needs to have his threes falling for him to go and have the confidence to be able to like, yeah, I'll pull up, I'll hit these shots, or I'll drive to the rim. So just better twos.
For Ryan Rollins, just take even better care of the ball. I mean, he's averaging less than 1 turnover per game. That too. Get a bag. That's an important one as well. But on court, like I need him. I think his best path to playing when everyone's healthy is, okay, when Dame's not playing, I'm going to put Rollins in to help make life easier offensively for everyone. I think he's a defensive playmaker. I think his shot looks good, like everything else. But I think to stand out and get more regular minutes, he's going to have to be so careful with the ball and not turning it over and making sure, like his role on the healthy Bucks is how can I get the ball to Khris or Giannis to set them up for success? So you just need to get it there safely without doing anything special. And then rotate to the corner, cut, whatever else you do off ball, that's fine. I think as backup point guard, that's the role for him to move forward in the rotation. Really just ball security is what I want to see after a couple of rough stretches when he was doing a lot and he got pressured by Brooklyn and Chicago.
Yeah. I think that's a really good call just for him this year for the Bucks and just his overall development as a player.
Yeah.
Get that conversion, Ryan.
Yeah, earn it. He's definitely earned it so far. We'll see if the Bucks or how they open up a roster spot.
Yeah.
I would like DeLon Wright to not be afraid of the basketball. That's my last one.
I'd like DeLon Wright to, don't be afraid of the ball touching your hands because you know what? You are an NBA player.
Yes.
On a contender.
Yes. For now.
For now. For now, indeed.
for now.
He hasn't been on a contender in a while, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
He's like, oh
Yeah,
my
you might
God,
be
there's
onto something.
stakes here.
Yeah. I can't just bomb away with no worries like I could against Boston when the games did not matter.
Yeah, because when's the last time he was on a contender?
I mean, you don't count Miami, I'm guessing.
No. Oh, God.
Washington, Atlanta.
It's Raptors 2018-19. No, he got traded. He was part of the Marc Gasol deal.
Yes.
So I guess that half season in Toronto is the only time he's ever been on a contender, because I don't count the DeMar, Kyle Lowry Raptors as contenders.
Yeah. Wow.
It's been a while.
You might be onto something there. Was that the good Atlanta year? No, that was after, right? 21,
Yeah,
22.
Oh, yeah, that was way after. The season after. The season after, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, this might be it,
Not a good first.
He hasn't been playing meaningful basketball in like 7 years.
I mean, again, he played in the playoffs last year, but it was everyone's out. Like, just go out there and have fun.
Yeah.
Kind of series.
100%. So, maybe that's it.
Was that his first playoffs?
No, he's been there with the Raptors.
Oh, yeah.
But no, wow, that's a rough stretch of teams. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever made it past the second round. So early in his career with the Raptors,
he played conference finals?
Maybe he was not playing as much. He's never played more than 10 games in a playoff run.
Wow. That's crazy. I think we found the answer.
Yeah.
At least a contributing factor to that.
I mean, he played a lot for Atlanta. They went and I think they lost in 5. I mean, he scored 8 points, nearly 5 rebounds, 2.8 assists, and then last year he scored 8 points again. He scored 8 points per game in 3 different playoff runs. But again, the stakes were different.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. DeLon Wright. Just, do your thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you're better off in like Detroit.
That's what it's feeling
who's
like.
angling to make a playoff push.
A postseason push, at least.
Yeah, postseason for sure. I think I'm fully out of resolutions. So.
DeLon Wright played for the Mavericks against Doc in playoffs.
Really?
Doc's Clippers. Not Doc as a player.
Doc is a player. DeLon Wright's been there for a while.
Yeah. Do you have any resolutions for Doc?
Ooh, that's a good one. Keep seeing the throat guy.
Yep. Take care of
yourself. Take care of yourself.
Yep.
I say that seriously.
Yep.
What else? I'd say keep experimenting with your rotations.
Yeah.
Like there's still way more opportunities for you to get like guys like Ajax involved, which is a little it's a little tough. We've seen that these last couple games, and at least I'd say this entire season.
Yeah.
But just keep being creative with your rotations, and keep trying to put the Bucks in the best position to win. We're full on the Doc train. We
are. Is there anyone not playing at all that you'd like to see get a chance? Because I kind of feel like we've exhausted the real options. We're big CL guys. I just don't know where the minutes would come at this point.
Bobby's playing too well.
Yeah.
I don't know. The entire team is playing well.
I was going to say, pretty much everyone's playing too well. I mean, now that Connaughton and DeLon Wright are pretty much excised from the rotation, there's no one who I watch the games and I'm like, that guy should not play.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think the rotation itself in terms of the players is fine. Yeah. I'd say just you can manage the minutes a little more. Yeah. I'd like to see Rollins play a little bit more, but I get it. He's the 10th man. That's going to be a limited role. But that's a good place to be, that we're excited about the 10th man. Yeah, it's really good. This is a good team. It's I remember last year, this clip of you lives rent free in my head. I love it all the time. I think about it a lot. Where you're like, the Bucks did New Year, New Me, and the new me is ass. Ass, yeah, I remember that. Don't do that this year. Yeah. Let's not start off making me rant on a podcast. For some reason, I thought you were going to say it's when I plug Zach Lowe every day, which that one lives rent-free in my head. That lives rent-free in my head. Just like, oh, no. I have a way with words. Zach Lowe come on the podcast. Yeah, why not? He's just traveling around.
watching ball, making IG posts, photo dumps.
Yeah.
Like he's Drake in a rap battle.
Yeah. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, good for him. But yeah, Zach Lowe. Let's talk Bucks.
Okay.
Is that it? Is that all we've got in 2025?
No, I hope not.
True.
Yeah.
Is that all we've got January 1, 2025?
I think so. We'll wrap this up. Say thank you for listening to this episode of the Eurostep here on Blue Wire and GSPN, presented by our great friends at Prize Picks. Make sure you get involved with them. Use the info in the description. Get that $50. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to wherever you're listening to or watching this podcast. Subscribe at gspn.info. You can get commercial-free pods, bonus written content, exclusive GSPN After Dark pods, all that fun stuff. $8 a month really helps the team out. But yeah, wherever you're listening, watching, subscribe. Make sure you leave a 5-star rating and review on your podcast platform of choice. Engage in the comment section. Tell us about the Bobby Portis Digimon Pokemon thing. Who's the worst player? Who's the base? We're trying to figure that out. I'm going to think about that a lot over the next couple of hours.
The Photoshops coming out of this are going to be brutal. I can already feel that.
But yeah, make sure to tweet at us on Twitter, Blue Sky, whatever. Go in the Discord. Link is at gspn.info in the About section. But yeah, pod random. We'll talk to you next time.